is Makati focused more on quantity.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know about?
Oh, it's Gian.
Oh, hey Luis. Hey Clark. Sit down and welcome. So, what are you guys talking about?
Oh no, we were just talking about the recent news.
Okay, what
Well,
is that?
the new recent news that we talk about is, the problems between Makati and Taguig, right?
Oh,
Have
that.
you ever heard?
The overtaking, have you heard
Yeah.
of it? Like,
Yeah.
The lands.
Yo,
Oh,
no,
really?
this one.
Oh,
No,
it's
no,
you're not.
You're not.
Sit down.
You're not that late.
thank you. What were you talking about? I heard something about Taguig and Makati.
Oh, it's the recent news. Yeah, tama. Yes, that's right. Ano, Makati and Taguig. We were just talking about the overtaking of it. Like, do you know that?
Who overtook? Makati or Taguig?
Taguig
Taguig.
itself.
If,
Itself.
is it Taguig?
Yeah.
Taguig?
Yeah,
it's
Taguig.
I remember now. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's with it?
So like, we were just no. I am just thinking like, how did it happen? Like, it's all so sudden. Like,
Actually, it's
yes.
This dispute is from a very long time ago, from the 1990s. You know.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it like, it's just been decided now?
Yeah, it's been decided just now.
But the problem has been going on for like decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard about two presidential proclamations that Taguig has presented that should be nullified.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
has something to do with Makati's ownership of that. And
Yeah.
that's what I remember.
If I do know a brief history about between Taguig and Makati, right?
Oh.
So we all know that Taguig is rather the Ambo streets, barangay Ambos, like any Ambos. It's actually originated from Taguig itself.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
Yeah, it's actually originated from Taguig. But the thing about it is rather it has something to do with the land rather. The lands, they were actually having a fight between them. But until to the end, Taguig itself, they just don't care about Ambo streets, which causes to this fight. you
Oh
know?
yeah, right. I remember because like
Oh.
there were maps, right? There's maps to prove like Taguig's ownership on parts of Makati that are near BGC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, along with those like the appeal of nullifying the two presidential proclamations, they also presented a survey plan PSU 9031, and that has the plans of or the map drawing of
Taguig.
Taguig.
and its ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, based on my experience rather, that Taguig has, I can give you one advantage about living in Taguig.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Taguig has a really good lifestyle in
I
places
agree, yeah.
when it comes to workouts, right? Because Taguig has, the like BGC, because it's so wide that fresh air comes into your body.
I just want BGC is part of the game.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, another brief history about it is BGC was actually originated from Makati, but in exchange for Taguig, for Taguig, Makati sold away BGC for Taguig. So in order for Ambo streets to stay away, right? And judging from going back to the advantages rather, BGC has wide place where you can work out because of the fresh air, and it's so wide that you can actually run into a marathon rather. But I can give a one disadvantage. It's the traffic jam when it comes to works.
Yeah.
When it goes home, it's so. For instance, your shift is like after end of your shift is after noon. You're supposed to meet that.
Yeah, but traffic happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Actually,
relatable.
so now that Luis has mentioned his pros and cons of Taguig, how about you, Clark?
Yeah, what's
Since
your
you live in
opinion,
Makati,
Clark?
We haven't really.
The pros and cons here are, it's pretty similar to the gig actually. In here we have like scholarships for schools. We have free healthcare if you have the yellow card. they call it.
It's technically
And
not.
for there are also a lot more, but I don't think I remember all of them. Sorry, I have a really bad memory.
Okay.
But I can also tell a disadvantage because
Yeah.
one of the disadvantage is, again, like he said, it's relatable. The traffic here is just really, really bad.
Yeah.
How often?
Like,
It's always
yes, like
every weekend.
especially EDSA.
Yeah.
Alright, so sure we've discussed the pros and cons of Makati and Taguig. Actually, now that that's mentioned, how about the consequences of like this Taguig claiming these parts of like Makati, since potentially a lot of things could be affected. Let's say, for example, politicians. That's a huge thing too, because one of the qualifications of like being a politician in your respective city is that you live in your respective
Well,
city.
the thing is there's also consequences when Taguig is claiming to Makati, like
That's
ambo
right.
streets.
That's right.
Because the thing is, Makati has already structured. They already constructed the schools, the courts, the barangay halls already, which means it's already owned by Makati itself. And the thing is the problem is that there's a chance that Mayor Cayetano can get a case for actually a fraud when it comes to stealing properties, you know.
So, Button, what is your opinion about this?
Like the most noticeable consequences I mentioned is the schools. It's like, imagine like we are VGN. Oh yeah, VGN. We are used to we are used to our schools being owned by Bina, like her
Yeah, Mayor
giving
Bina.
us supplies,
I
like
see.
the
Yeah.
complete like. Taguig also
I
gives us
understand.
supplies, but like it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Also the prices. I noticed it
Listen
has
here.
grown a bit recently. Like
Clark.
yes,
Taguig also gives free supplies, and also Makati, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I've noticed is Makati focused more on quantity.
Oh
Yeah.
I also noticed that.
I
And
also
Taguig
noticed it.
focused more on quantity.
quantity.
Yeah.
It was like
I honestly believe that Makati is just, combination between both qualities and quantities rather. But for me, it kind of was, from my personal experience, that from the school supplies rather, it's just the same thing. Quality and quantity.
So, with that in mind, I think this is a really deep discussion. I'd love to discuss this outside of this. Do you have the time?
Of course, yes.
Of course.
Okay, that's good.
You feel Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday.
we're gonna go hang out like on Saturday. So are you guys coming in on
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yeah, you know what?
But
Why
where?
don't we
Why?
hang out?
We can go on gym, work out, have
yeah.
dinner, anything.
You
guys
actually
good?
are going to be just
Yeah.
Wanna come
What
with?
time? What time?
No, we're going right now together.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go!